Welcome to A Tale of Two Ramens. Today I'm going to show you two types of ramen, one vegetarian or vegan actually, and one not. I'll be going to Tea's Tantan in Ueno Station and Phil's going to Ichiran, which is a really popular ramen chain with branches all around Japan. We're at Tea's Tantan. It's a vegan restaurant in Ueno Station. Now they have a pretty well-known branch inside Tokyo Station, and this branch at Ueno is the newer branch. I believe it's slightly smaller and I think it's got a slightly different menu as well. The exciting thing about this place is they have a little deli counter and they have vegetarian katsu sandwiches. Now every other time I've been to Japan with my friends, they've all had their pork katsu sandwiches and I've never been able to try them, so this is my chance here. They've also got ramen, which is mainly sesame based. Everything on the menu is completely vegan. That was really good. I really enjoyed it. Seemed like such a novelty to be able to pick from anything on the menu, and I wanted to eat everything. But I went for the gold sesame ramen. There's three types of sesame ramen. I don't know which one's the best, but the gold was pretty good. The soup was kind of quite rich actually. It was sort of creamy. And it had a nutty taste. It had a lot of sesames in it, and I love sesame, so that was a good thing in my book. It had a lot of vegetables on the top, and then underneath some of the leaves, I didn't see it at first, it had some soy mince, which was sort of not curry flavour, but it was a bit spicy. Actually, the soup was a tiniest bit spicy as well. I can take sort of medium spice level. So for me, it had a tiny bit of spice, but it wasn't hot at all. And they had extra spice on the table. They had the Tantan sauce if you wanted to make it hotter. I tried a tiny bit of that and it tasted like it had some of that mixed in already. I actually didn't feel weird at all eating on my own in there. There were quite a few other people on their own, just getting on with their meals, and it was actually perfectly comfortable.
It's really common here.
Yeah.
So many people go out for lunch and just eat on their own. I don't think you should ever feel uncomfortable about doing that here. It's not got the same stigma, especially because you often sit at counters rather than at tables. It's fine. So
you don't feel like anyone's staring at you or anything. So today for lunch we split up and both went for lunch on our own. Happy holidays. Because Phil's allergic to nuts and basically everything on the menu has nuts in, so watch out for that.
Yeah, it's not like a crazy allergy, but if something specifically has a large amount of nuts, that's not a good thing. So if it's got trace amounts, then I normally just don't worry about it, which is why I'm fine at most restaurants. But here, everything was made of nuts, which I guess is what gives it its taste. And Amy really wanted to eat there, so I thought, let's go separate ways.
Yes, that's the way to go. And it's good you didn't go because it had a spoonful of peanut butter on the top and it did taste kind of nutty as well. They were actually really good at labelling all the things you might be allergic to on the menu. They had little icons on there and it was really clear. So while I was having that, Phil went to Ichiran, which is a ramen chain that we've seen around quite a bit. It always seems to have a queue outside, so Phil went to see if it was really as good as it's supposed to be.
Yeah, so there is always a queue. I think I've seen it about 9 in the morning when there isn't one, but every other time of the day there's a big queue. I had to wait about 15 minutes and you get in the queue. The guy gives you a menu, basically, like a little tick sheet. So you can see the items you want and you can circle them. And it asks you things like how rich do you want the sauce, how much dashi do you want in it, how thick do you want your ramen noodles, how spicy do you want it. So like cocoa curry, you can have between, I think, 0 spice up to 10. I went with a 2, which was just spicy. And I'd say that was nice. To me, I could taste the spice, but it wasn't spicy. Which for ramen, I think is about right. I don't really want a really spicy soup all the time. So you can really customize it. And I kind of felt bad because a lot of the time I just sort of went with the recommended, which is the middle one. I would like to go back and try the really soft version of the noodles and the really hard version of the noodles to see if it made a difference. But this time, just straight down the middle pretty much and just circled all the normal things. And on top of that, you can also choose additional things, like you can choose if you want an egg, which you do, and you can choose if you want rice or extra noodles, and there's a whole load of things. And then you go through the door, and a lot of people are surprised that there's a vending machine in there as well. So it's pretty common to order from vending machines here. It just mimics the menu exactly. So you choose, you basically want ramen, and you wanted a beer, so you press beer. You wanted an egg, you press egg. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. But
was that in English?
It was in English, yeah, and it was simpler than a lot of vending machines I've seen, and there were staff right there to help you. So I guess I should have started by saying one of the main features of this chain is that you don't have to talk to anyone. so you don't need to talk to staff. They serve it in a little hatch, so you can't see their faces, just ramen appears in front of you. However, it's so busy there that I interacted with a lot of members of staff. So you've got the person in the queue, then the person who shows you how the vending machine works if you're struggling, then the person who shows you to your seat. So there's a lot of staff there. So don't assume it's going to be this completely solitary experience, nor is it difficult. So it's interesting. They will let you sit with your friends if you want to. Somehow I got sat in the middle of a couple of friends, which was a little bit weird because they were talking over me. So not the best experience, but that's not anyone's fault really, that's just how it happens. So you go in, sit down, and push your ticket through, and then they deliver your ramen. And it came within like 5 minutes, probably 2 or 3 minutes really. And it tastes really good. Like, it was good ramen. It was well made, it tasted nice, and lots of good things going for it. It's quite cheap too really, it's about 850 yen for the ramen, and then whatever you pay for the extras. I would say if you're going there to try Japanese ramen, you will find better just from random places on the street or by doing a little bit of research first. However, it's a decent experience and it does taste good, and it's really easy. Like, as a tourist, they're geared up to help you. It's a real tourist ramen restaurant. So it's worth going there just for that. It's nice, easy, good food, not the best, not the worst by a long way either. It's a nice safe bet, and they are everywhere, so you can always find one. I did order a beer, and they had a beer problem. They had a beer problem. They couldn't give me the beer. So I had to talk to members of staff a little bit, and they explained that there's just a problem with the beer. So I said, oh, don't worry about it. They said, oh no, we will remake your meal if you want. If you're okay waiting 5 minutes, we'll remake your meal. Which I thought was really nice, because I kind of half had my meal. I've got through a lot of it. And they were quite happy to try and sort that out for me. I said no, because we were in a bit of a hurry. I needed to meet up with Amy again. So they gave me my money back, and they also gave me this, which I guess is tea.
Shikai Bicha. I don't know what that is.
No, I don't know what it is.
It looks like tea.
But they gave me that as an apology, and they were really friendly about it, and it was easy to talk to them and help out. But yeah, I did speak to quite a lot of people in a restaurant where you're not supposed to speak to anyone, but it was fine.
Actually, that probably is tea, because that's cha at the end, isn't it? Cha is usually a tea sort of thing.
So yeah, in summary, good ramen, worth going to, but definitely try and find some more authentic places as well, like little areas or just places that have been reviewed really well. Ichiran, I don't know how many locals really go there, partially because of the queues and partially because I think we just can get better.
Ichiran.
Sorry.
Ichiran.
What did I say?
Ichiban.
Yes,
that means
Ichiran.
number one.
Ichiran. For men. Ichiran, yes.
Oh, that's interesting. It's not the best ramen when it's so popular.
Yeah, it's not bad, but I think it is geared up for tourists. I think it's like, this is a really cool experience, you must go. And it is a cool experience, and it is good ramen, but it is not the best ramen. Don't come here, have that, and think you've had it, because there is better.
Now, I did want to try everything on the menu at Tea's Tantan, but I also got this veggie katsu sandwich, which is great. This was also part of the reason why I went there. And I think they only have them at the Ueno branch of, Ueno, I think that's how you say it, Ueno. The Ueno branch of Tea's Tantan, not the Tokyo Station, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And all my friends get katsu sandwiches from the convenience store, and I'm really jealous because I can never try one. So now I can. They've got one here. This was 550 yen, and they have them on a deli counter so you can take them out. Oh, my ramen was 900 yen, so neither expensive, which is pretty good for a vegetarian place.
That sandwich actually, because that's double the size you'd normally get for a katsu sand.
Is it?
But that fancy one I had the other day was thicker, but normally in a convenience store you just get two. So it's like 2 slices of bread rather than
I think these are probably quarter slices each. It's not very tall.
So it is just a 2-slice sandwich.
Yeah.
But even so, 550 yen for that, in the UK, like £3 for a sandwich, that's fine.
Yeah, pretty good. After all that, the katsu sandwich actually wasn't my favourite. I still prefer the fruit sandwiches you get in convenience stores. But maybe that's just me, because I've seen lots of other people really enjoyed it. But the ramen at Tea's Tantan is my favourite ramen anywhere, and I can't wait to go back. On reflection, Phil's also looking forward to going back to Ichiran, and this time he's going to try some different choices rather than just going down the middle for everything. If you've tried either of these, let me know what you thought of them in the comments. If you're like us and you're a vegetarian travelling together with a meat eater, you might find my restaurant list helpful. It's a list of places in Tokyo that serve meat and vegetarian options, which most places don't. I'll put the link in the description for you. Finally, here's how to find Teas Tantan at Ueno Station. This is inside the ticket barriers, so if you're getting the train to Ueno, you'll find it before you go through the ticket barriers, or if you're coming from outside the station, you will need to get a ticket or scan your Suica card to come in. It's inside E-Cute Shopping Centre. Probably pronounced that wrong. Is it Ekute? I'm not really sure. It looks like E-Cute on the sign, which is a sort of little row of restaurants inside the station. I'm just opposite track 8 of the Joban and Ueno Tokyo line, so it's really close to the platforms. There's also a more well-known branch of Teas Tantan in Tokyo Station. That's also inside the ticket gates on Keio Street. And there's branches of Ichiran all around Japan. Just search for Ichiran on Google Maps. I'll be back next week with more things to do in Japan. There's new videos every Thursday if you want to subscribe. See you next time.